What happens when one of Hollywood's most beloved action icons sits down for what should have been a friendly interview, only to be blindsided by a confrontation that pushes him to his breaking point? The moment Jackie Chan went head-to-head with Joy Behar became a studio-shaking clash that left the audience silent and viewers around the world instantly choosing sides. This wasn't just another celebrity interview slipping off the rails. It was a reminder of how fast everything can fall apart when respect disappears. The morning at The View started like any other. Jackie Chan had been invited for what everyone assumed would be a simple promotional interview for his newest film. The martial arts superstar walked onto the stage with his warm, familiar smile, waving to the audience as they erupted into applause. Jackie had done hundreds of interviews throughout his long career, charming hosts and fans with his humility and good-natured humor, but nothing that morning could have prepared him for what was about to unfold. "Welcome back to The View, everyone," Joy Behar announced as the cameras went live. "We're here with the legendary Jackie Chan, action movie superstar and martial arts master. Jackie, thank you for joining us today." Jackie settled into his seat, adjusting his microphone. "Thank you for having me, Joy. It's always great to be here with all of you." The audience clapped again, and for a moment, everything felt completely normal. Joy shuffled through her cards while Jackie prepared to talk about his new film. "So, Jackie, your new movie is definitely something," Joy began. But her tone already carried a sharp edge that made the other hosts exchange uneasy glances. "But I have to ask, don't you think it's time to retire those action hero boots? I mean, you're not exactly a young guy anymore." The comment hit like a slap. Jackie's smile faltered just a bit, though he stayed composed, relying on decades of media experience. "Well, Joy," he said kindly, "I may not be as young as I once was, but I still have many stories to tell and stunts I want to perform. Age is just a number when you're passionate about your work." "Passion," Joy repeated, dripping with sarcasm. "That's one way to put it. But honestly, watching someone your age trying moves from decades ago, don't you think it's a little awkward? Like watching someone's grandpa try to break dance at a family party." The audience shifted uncomfortably. This wasn't the friendly, light-hearted conversation they expected. Whoopi Goldberg, Sarah, and the other co-hosts shifted in their seats as Joy continued her unexpected attack. Jackie's jaw tightened slightly. His relaxed hands slowly curled into fists. "I think maybe you misunderstand what I do," he said calmly. "My work isn't about trying to be young again. It's about entertaining people and showing what's possible in movies." "Oh, please," Joy scoffed, waving her hand. "Let's be honest, you're not pushing limits anymore. You're barely keeping up with actors half your age. I watched your last film, and honestly, it looked like you needed a stunt double just to bend over and tie your shoes." The audience gasped. Whoopi tried to step in. "Joy, maybe we should—" "No, Whoopi," Joy snapped. "I'm asking what everyone is thinking. Jackie, when will you admit your era has passed? When will you step aside and let younger actors take over?" Jackie Chan had lived through injuries, risks, danger, and decades of hard work. But sitting there, being humiliated by someone he expected to show professionalism, something inside him finally shifted. "Joy," he said softly with a warning tone that fans would recognize instantly, "I don't think you truly understand the dedication and sacrifice my work requires." "Dedication?" Joy laughed loudly. "Jackie, you're a walking antique, a museum piece, trying to act like you're still important. The only thing dedicated about your recent work is how dedicated you are to embarrassing yourself on camera." The hosts stared at her in disbelief. The audience froze. Jackie's breathing changed. His smile was gone. When he spoke again, his voice was calm, but carried the weight of someone who had been pushed too far. In my culture, Joy, we have a word called respect. Maybe that's something you're not familiar with. Don't lecture me about respect, Joy fired back. You want respect? Earn it by knowing when to quit. Stop dragging out a career that's already finished. That was the moment Jackie finally hit his limit. He stood up in one smooth motion, and the entire studio felt the shift. The friendly, cheerful Jackie Chan disappeared. In his place stood someone serious, disciplined, and unshakably strong. You know what, Joy? His voice cut through the silent studio. I've spent 50 years entertaining the world. I've broken bones, risked my life, and dedicated everything to bringing joy to families everywhere. And you sit behind a desk and tell me I'm embarrassing myself? Joy's confidence wavered, though she tried to hold her ground. Jackie, sit down. You're being dramatic. This is TV, not one of your old action movies. Dramatic. Jackie laughed once, but there was no humor in it. You want dramatic? Dramatic is a 70-year-old woman who hasn't created anything meaningful, attacking someone who's inspired millions. The studio froze. Joy's face turned red with anger. How dare you? I've been on TV longer than you've been making movies in America. I don't need some washed-up action star insulting my career. Washed up? Jackie stepped closer. When I was a kid learning martial arts, we were taught discipline, respect, and humility. You don't seem to have learned any of those. Whoopi tried again. Guys, please, let's calm down. No, Whoopi, Jackie said, eyes locked on Joy. She invited me here as a guest and then ambushed me. In my culture, when someone disrespects you in your own home, you have a right to stand up for yourself. Joy slammed her hand on the desk. This isn't your home, Jackie. This is my show. And if I want to ask tough questions about your failing career, I will. Tough questions? Jackie's voice rose, and several audience members jumped. A tough question is about my craft, my training, my ideas. What you're doing is bullying. I'm a comedian and a talk show host, Joy shot back, standing up, even though she looked tiny next to him. I make observations about pop culture, and right now, my observation is that you're desperately clinging to your fading fame. Jackie's eyes narrowed. You want to talk about relevance? My films have earned billions. Kids in countries you've never heard of know my name. I've inspired entire generations. What exactly is your legacy? Making cheap jokes and insulting guests. The hosts didn't move. The audience didn't breathe. The tension felt like it could break the air itself. Joy's voice trembled. My legacy is 30 years of telling the truth and not letting celebrities hide behind their old achievements. Your best days are over. Accept it. Past glory, Jackie whispered, and somehow it was even more intense. Joy, I did my own stunts yesterday, while you sat here insulting people braver than you'll ever be. Yesterday, I was hanging from a helicopter 300 feet above the ground. That's not brave, Joy snapped. That's stupid. You're going to kill yourself trying to pretend you're still 25. Jackie stepped back and gave her a cold smile. You're right about one thing. I'm not 25. At 25, I would have walked away and let you tear me down. But I'm not that young man anymore. Joy tried to respond, but Jackie lifted his hand, and the entire studio went silent. I've earned my place in this industry with blood, sweat, and devotion, and I won't let you disrespect that for a cheap laugh. Joy had no comeback. None. The silence was so heavy, it felt impossible to breathe. When Jackie spoke again, his voice softened, but stayed steady. Joy, the sad part is that I came here excited to talk about my work, my team, and my fans, but you turn this into an attack for reasons I don't understand. Jackie, I was just trying to ask difficult questions, Joy whispered. Difficult questions? Jackie raised an eyebrow. Like calling me a grandpa, or saying I need help tying my shoes. That's not difficult. That's cruel. Sarah finally spoke in a near whisper. Maybe we should take a break. No, Jackie said gently. This needs to be addressed. Joy tried once more to regain control. If you can't handle tough interviews, maybe you shouldn't be on a press tour. The audience gasped. Jackie shook his head sadly. Joy, this wasn't a tough interview. This was you trying to humiliate me. That's not journalism. That's bullying. I am not a bully, Joy insisted weakly. Then why say those things? Jackie asked softly. Joy didn't answer. And for the first time in the history of The View, a guest walked off, not out of anger, but out of strength. Jackie Chan showed exactly why he remains a legend, not just in martial arts, not just in film, but in character, integrity, and standing up for yourself when it matters most.